Hello, boys and girls. This is Old Man Yells at Cloud, working for my Patreon Blue Powder Monkeys, listening to Billy Joel's Songs in the Attic. You can look all that stuff up. Today, we are working on kind of a fan fun project. This is the game Terraforming Mars, which is a board game. You can look that up. I don't know why I'm talking to the microphone when I should be looking here and talking there. Anyway, I have played a lot of Terraforming Mars. I play on Board Game Arena. I guess I'm above average because I'm considered a good player. My elo is usually in the 300s, mid 300s to kind of low 300s, depending on who I run into in Arena. Used to get my ass fucking stomped, and that still happens every once in a while, but now I'm able to usually only lose by like 10 or sometimes 1 or 2. And every once in a while, I'll get lucky and win against one of those guys. Terraforming Mars has a bunch of maps of Mars. There's a decent number of fan-made maps out there. So I have a big hard-on for retro 70s kind of science fiction-y sort of thing. In that spirit, I am designing kind of a retro 70s map. What I've been doing is I sort of did a rough layout. This is fucking huge too. This is like 4,000 by 3,000 pixels, which is many inches. I don't know. Did I do the math? I'm going to sing along to Billy Joel every once in a while. 13 inches, so a foot, a little bigger than a foot, which seems kind of small actually. They have a regular map size, and then they have a what they call a big board map, I think, which is much larger. So anyway, if you have any questions about any of the stuff as it goes along, you can leave a comment, because I'm not doing a live stream. Because, I mean, this is all vector graphics, so I can just fucking upscale it or whatever. But it's also ratio. These numbers need to be, what are they right now? They are 57 point font, so yeah, that could definitely get smaller. Because 54 point font is going to be pretty good size. Board size, let's see if this has it. Board, the player mat, centimeters, 52 by 44 centimeters. This first one I'm going to do is just going to be the really basic Tharsis map. It's not going to have Venus expansion stuff on it and colonies and all the rest of that. That is for down the road a little bit. And I haven't even played there's a political one. We have the cool wooden tile trays and all the rest of that, but I don't have the 3D trays. This left-hand side, I've sort of set up different artboards so that I can do multiple maps if I want at some point in the future. I've been messing around with the icons. I'm going to do them monochromatically, so it makes it a little harder to keep them. And if you don't know what all these icons are because you don't play the game, then it's not going to mean a lot to you. But the game has various icons. So these are the ones that I've come up with right now. Tags along the bottom. So we have a city tag, event, space, building. That has to be energy, animal, plant, microbe. I should do a little more with the microbe. Science, Earth, and Jupiter. Earth and Jupiter were tough in a way, but I feel like this is a pretty elegant solution. Some people might be like, oh, you need the spot on Jupiter or whatever, but it's a little spot I don't think is decisive as the 3 stripes, though some people might go, oh, it's like a Saturn tag, which I don't think is a thing, but a Saturn tag I could do a sideways stripe on or something, and it would go fine. This little microbe, I think what I want to do is make more than one microbe on it, because the original one has 3 I think 3 little doodads that are kind of misshapen or whatever. I had I don't expect you to watch all of these things. I had one earlier that I was talking about the debate between showing or not showing me down in the corner, because it's not exactly the most photogenic guy, but I'm not really shy about it either, so I don't care. But I figure, I don't know, it's funny. It's if people are just oh, fuck no, don't show your face or whatever. I don't think people will be like that. But if that's you, I mean, leave a comment and I'll take it under advisement. For now, you can sort of see my emotions when I'm talking. But I tended to cover up this lower part of the screen where the little picture-in-picture is, right? So I rearranged all my stuff in Illustrator to be above that line. So basically, I don't know why I'm looking over at the monitor of it, except I can't see the thing that's under here. So basically, you should be able to see all my menus, which is important. And some of them might get buried underneath. Like if I open up swatches, for example, I'm guessing, oh yeah, some of this stuff over to the left is covered up, but that doesn't really matter. You can see like the color palette and stuff that I'm using. This is the more, I have a base retro science fiction thing that I use for Traveler, which I've done some streams on and I'll continue to do streams on. That basically is 4 colors, just these 4 right here. And this weird green I only use for really special shit. It's basically these 3. And that's kind of what I'm doing with this. I'm trying to keep to just these 3, but I do have some other options down here if I want to do like special stuff or whatever. Anyway, close that. None inspires me without a sound. Okay, so that's fine for now. Just like a little extra. I could put another fuzzy one over here somewhere. What the fuck are you trying to do to me here? There we go. So that feels a little cluttered to me. I may come back around on it. But the awesome thing about this kind of creative work is you can change it. It's digital. You know, there's the joke of like, you know, some things are written in ink. It's like a life philosophy thing. It's like some things in your life are just written in ink, which implies they can't be erased, can't be changed or whatever. But it's like, that's not this. Digitally, you can pretty much erase or change anything you want. So don't get locked in to making something perfect first time through. It's a draft. It's going to change. Absolutely. If you are someone who needs to have things correct or the way that they need to be like the very first time, it is a hard life to lead. And I feel a little bad for you, honestly, because I change shit all the time. The icons that I've been doing for Traveler, for example, my partner keeps teasing me about it. It's like, oh, you're redoing those things again? Because I've redone them like 4-ish times. The ones that I have now, I feel like are it. And I feel like I've done this enough. What the fuck, dude? I've done this enough to know when something feels right at this point. And I sometimes know if something feels wrong. But I definitely know when something feels right. And the ones that I have now feel right, so they more than likely will stay. As for this, I'm generally happy with the large bulkiness of things. These, let's see here. Hexes. Oh, goodness gracious. There we go. Okay, so all of this, I'm happy with the general design of it, but the location is absolutely going to change because the game keeps track of points around the outside. And I could change that. Like I could just put like a little point tracker, you know, up and down here if I wanted to do or whatever. But is that just a change for change's sake? Because functionally having the players working their way around the board in terraforming works fine and it's kind of cool. And you want to keep the map doing map things. So, you know, I get it. I am going to shrink this down now, though, because these hexes are fucking gigantic, right? They are almost 250 pixels. So let's see what size. Board hexes 40 millimeter corner to corner, 156 inches, or 1.56 inches in freedom units. Tiles are slightly smaller at 39. So 40 millimeter quarter to... Watch me get copyrighted for singing along to Billy Joel. Fair use, motherfuckers. All right, so let's try, what did they say? 40 fucking millimeters. That's corner to corner, though, so shit. And, of course, the angle in hexes is not, it's like 60-something. It's not like an exact deal. Oh, that worked out okay, because I have my locking mechanism. All right, so that is not a 6-point fucking line, is it? Am I working that big that that's a 6-point line? Holy crap. All right, so that is... This is why I fail sometimes with Terraforming Mars, is the fucking math. End math game especially, like trying to figure out when the game is going to end. I'll be like, oh, we got another turn left, and then these like 500 elo guys are like, nah, the fuck you do, buddy. Should have dropped all your cool shit, because now you're fucked. Sunset Boulevard. See, it's not a 45 degrees, so that's kind of annoying. Well, you know, it is what it is. So I'm probably being a little too precise about this, but I wouldn't mind it being compatible for physical pieces. Business too. I had this album, this Songs in the Attic, I think might have been my first Billy Joel album. It also might have been like 52nd Street or one of the really big ones, but it was one of my favorite albums because there's a bunch of songs in it that I hadn't heard. Okay, good. I can't change the size of that. And they're, it's live stuff. Some people are really good live, obviously, and he's pretty energetic live, so that's cool. What did I do to this thing? Holy cow! Take your time. All right. Of course, I made rounded corners, so I don't have a place to lock. That's pretty close. Together. All right, so now, before we get confused here. But yeah, I listen to this so much, and you'll find out, I mean, if you're a young person, which probably statistically most of you are, you go through that, for fuck's sake, you go through that thing when you're a kid where you sort of listen to the same shit over and over again or watch the same movie like 100 times. You kind of outgrow that and kind of don't outgrow that. Like, there was definitely a period in my life where I didn't need to listen, I was listening to different stuff basically all the time. But now that I'm older, I'm like, rediscovering the stuff that I listened to as a kid, and I'll listen to it for like fucking 8 weeks in a row or whatever. It'll just be like, okay, I've been listening to this honestly for like a week now, almost every day. All right, so let's go 102. Is that going to make it slightly smaller? Or let's go 115. It's easier to remember. That is slightly too small if I'm going to actually have tiles placed in there. Let's go 105 on the small. That seems pretty good, actually. Yeah, so that's closer to what it probably should be. All right, so that's going to create a mess. And you're going to get to watch that mess live. Because what's going to happen now, sometimes it says intersect and sometimes it says middle, or center, sorry. And then it tries to line itself up, so that's good. There. And I managed to take my fucking hand off of it without screwing it all up. Alright, background black? What the fuck is that? So it's not background black anymore. It's background fucking gradient green. I talked on an earlier one that I don't use gradients in Illustrator that much because the gradient tool, I don't know, I'm just not into it. I don't feel like the tool is super good. It doesn't seem as good or intuitive as Photoshop, and so my design work also tends to be kind of flatter colors as well. But this kind of effect I like quite a bit, so that's why I used it. Illustrator had this thing, you'll hear me go off on this multiple times. Illustrator basically is a Frankenstein product. They had all these different programs that they bought from different programmers, and they kind of sandwiched them together, and they're concentrating. I mean, they theoretically must know what they're doing as far as making money because they're still making money. But in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, they're concentrating on the wrong thing. So instead of getting the programs to work together better, they work in the respect that I could take this and I could export it into InDesign, for example, and put text around it. I could technically take it into Photoshop and vice versa, but I don't think there's dynamic linking in the respect if I change it, I have to relink it as opposed to it kind of changing automatically, which is what it kind of does in InDesign. So that's a little weird glitch. The pen tool, for example, which is this thing, right, kind of works differently in every single one, which is a fucking pain in the ass. So it works more similar in InDesign and Illustrator, but the Photoshop pen tool, I don't even use it. I don't even know what the fuck it does. It creates a line, and then you have to go through like 4 other things to stroke the line, maybe, and then you can create masks from it or some shit. I don't know. It's fucking annoying. So there's a lot of stuff like that, basically, where they're just like, man, we don't give a fuck about this interactivity. We'd rather have you do like AI fucking extended backgrounds or whatever. It's like, I don't give a fuck about that. right? Like I want functionality to improve on this shit. Oh, it's going to go sideways. And I don't think I can set a shrink point, right? Unless it's, I can't set a specific point as far as I know. I bet I can. I bet there's a thing in there somewhere I can do. It does it based on a thing that isn't here. It's this thing right here. So I can't just designate a fucking point as far as I know. Maybe I can. I don't know. If somebody knows how to do that, feel free to let me know. I may look it up later. Hey boys and girls, this is Editing Old Man Yells at Cloud, working for my Patreon Blue Powder Monkeys. This little section had me trying to rescale something and being a little perplexed or annoyed that I didn't have the ability to set an independent sort of transform point where that I could scale it. So I went and looked stuff up, and there is a way to do it. It's not intuitive because nothing in Illustrator is. So I've attempted to kind of recreate about what we were talking about. We have kind of a smaller sized hex that I want to scale these hexes to, but these hexes are grouped together. So if I scale them normally by doing this, which is Shift Alt, and then they kind of scale the way they want to scale here. See, they're all scaling nicely together, but they're scaling from kind of a central point. And then if I go here and go Shift, they'll scale from a corner. Alt, yeah, then they'll get weird. You want them to kind of scale proportionally, obviously. So the idea would be you'd want to scale it from the center of this red, which is the new goal size. And what I ended up doing is I kind of scaled things down and then sort of moved it over. And there was a whole like fiddly bit worth of stuff in here that I get to edit out now because I figured out the right way to do things, right? So here's the deal. I already knew this, interestingly enough, with the rotation tool. The rotate tool has the ability to kind of set where you want to rotate stuff from, obviously. Otherwise, it would be completely fucking useless. The annoying thing is I have to switch over to my mouse because all of these tools don't work the way they don't work specifically like this with the tablet for whatever reason. With the pen, the tablet part of it is still working fine, but the pen for some reason fucks things up. So this is the normal rotation tool. And you'd come over here and you'd press down on Alt to get that little minus sign. And then you would click, say, right here. And then you would get a thing that would open up. And you could enter in a precise amount of stuff. Normally, you would be able to just click without the Alt little minus sign. You could click, say, here. And then you click outside of it. And now it's rotating around this point. Okay? So, pretty simple. Well, as I've said before, these little arrows open up little sub-menus, and of course I didn't do that. When you open up the sub-menu, there's a whole list of other menus here, right? So here's the scale tool. So now, if I click here, gunk, and then click outside here, look at that. It just fucking scales. Yeah, I wanted to verify on it. So yeah, you can basically click where you want to scale. Move, I think you need to move outside the object. Maybe not. No, you don't. You just have to move. You might not even have to move. Yeah, you have to release. So you basically click and release. Mark. We don't have to do this too precisely here. You click and release. You go outside here. You hold down the Shift key so that you get proportional scaling so it doesn't get all weird on you. And then you just do it like that. So I learned a new thing because I was trying to teach you guys new things, and there you go. And now back to the regularly scheduled video with a big chunk of it cut out of the middle because you don't need to see me futzing around the old way. From your head down to your toes. All right, so I'm gonna fucking lock this thing because I've had to do this like 8 times now. So that's Control 2, and that basically locks that specific item. So there's my polygon, and it's locked. And then I can do Control-Alt-2 to unlock it. The bummer is, and I don't know how they get around it, but unlocking unlocks everything. So you could lock like 12 things, and if you just want one thing unlocked, you're still going to have to go into the layer palette like you just saw there and dick around. So this kind of detail may seem, after I talked about the microbe, like, oh, fuck that microbe. I'll just do whatever. I can change it later. This is the kind of stuff you start recognizing as important to get right the first time. Or, the design element you could potentially change, but to redo all these hexes, that is perfect enough, my friends. We're still, yeah, that's fine. There we go. All right. So that's what, oh God, that's so small. Is that too small? Because then I'm going to have so much space to fill. Well, let's do it and have all this space and then expand it if we need to, proportionally. Anyway, for me to kind of redo, I don't know if redo is the right word, but basically like that's something I want to get right because a whole bunch of other stuff is going to be dependent on it. So it's worth taking a little bit of extra. Why? Oh, planet. There we go. Cool. Oh, smart. Smart goes back on. You can immediately see these little pink word, magenta. Oh. Now that theoretically should be, but it's not because it has too many things to key off of. So I go over here and grab my little doodad here. Let's try it one more time. Sometimes it takes a couple times to kind of get it to line up the way that it's supposed to. Yeah, that's too small. Oh, perfect. Yeah, see, I just needed to know what it's like. Sir, is this it? Is this it? And I'm like, yes, yes it is. Oh, yeah, okay. This sometimes works so badly that when it works correctly, I'm so excited because it's so much time saving. All right, cool. Pennsylvania Turnpike. If you know anything about the game, these are a couple of cities you can place off planet. One is Ganymede and the other is Phobos. Ganymede being a moon of Jupiter and Phobos being a moon of Mars. Phobos and Deimos, the moons of Mars, are named after the sons of Ares, the god of war, which is Mars is named after. Now, there's not a whole lot of information on Phobos and Deimos in mythology. They're only mentioned, I think, a couple of times, and I think they might actually be, I might be misremembering. They might be like his fucking horses or something. They might, oh, fuck, gotta do an even number. They might not be his sons, but whatever they are, they're tiny little moons. And there's an event card in the game called Deimos Down, where you can wreck Deimos into Mars in order to terraform, which is pretty funny. It's one of the best cards. It's definitely like an S tier card in that game. But for some reason in the game, you're able to colonize Phobos. Interestingly, Phobos is where phobia came from, and Deimos is one is terror and the other is fear. Phobos is fear. Deimos is, I think, terror or something. It's something that sounds like it should be the same, but there's a difference between fear and, I guess, being scared of something, or I don't know. There feels like there's probably like a very subtle difference between those two terms. Let's see, that one is not happening as well as I want it to be. But I don't have two more rows to play with. I only have one. So I wonder, and I need a multiple of even multiple. I wonder if I just did a row of, no, it doesn't at all. It doesn't want to do it at all. Why is it duplicating? Is it actually duplicating? It is, but it shouldn't be. It's so weird. Because duplicating is that's duplicating. Oh, there's a version on top of it. I duplicated and didn't go back far enough. On satin sheets, a few more times I can say. Woo! So that took a while, didn't it? All right, once again, this is editor Old Man Yells at Cloud, and we're going to break this up into a couple of different parts because this thing, I tend to go on. So I hope you enjoyed the first part where I got the planet and the hexes and all resized, and keep on the lookout for part 2 at a later date.